Hello, everyone. A very welcome and a very good evening. So today we will be learning about East Bay Community Energy. So for that, I welcome William Mutzenberg and Harman Rathia. So they are the committee members from Tracy. We will be learning what this energy, kind of the community energy Bay Area is and how it impacts us. And we'll go into some detail. Before that, I'll request Herman to please share us some of her background, so her professional, personal, some kind of introduction.
Sure. Thanks, Kritesh. My name is Harman Rathia, and I have been in Central Valley for almost over a decade. I'm in real estate, and I bring with me a lot of other kinds of experiences as well. I'm a mother of two children, and I also serve on Delta College Foundation Board. And the reason I'm here is that I'm a great believer of green energy, especially the sustainable one like solar and wind. That is not only cost effective in the long run, but it also helps our environment grow more healthier.
No, thank you very much, Herman. So now I'll request William. We all know William, but yeah, please, William, share some more about yourself as well as why are you involved in this initiative.
Yeah, so hi everyone. I'm William Mutzenberg. If you don't know me, I ran for Tracy City Council last year and am the current representative for the EBCE Community Advisory Committee, which we'll be sharing more about. I'm happy to be serving on this committee with Harman, who is serving as my alternate. And I currently work as a legislative assistant for a lobbying firm in Sacramento, where I work on issues such as wildfires and housing. And so I wanted to be a part of EBCE because I figured as Tracy joins EBCE and begins receiving service, I want to make sure that I kind of help build the initial stakeholder interest in Tracy with Harman, so that we can ensure that there's transparency, making sure that the community is aware of EBCE and the goals that we're trying to accomplish, and making sure that Tracy's voice is represented on the CAC. And so I'm excited to be on this platform to speak on EBCE and share more about it.
No, thank you very much, William. So this seems to be something different from what we normally have, like the PG&E, that terminology everybody's aware of. This is kind of a new terminology, EBCE or East Bay Community Energy. Can you please share with us what this entity is, what's its role, and what's its vision?
Yeah, so Harman, I'll go ahead and just kind of start, and if you have other things, just chime in for this first part. But let's go to the next slide. So East Bay EBCE is a local power supplier. It provides power to both Alameda County and now the city of Tracy. And what it is it's a joint power authority. So that means it's a quasi-government agency that is allowed certain powers and and provides a certain service. And so in this case, the County of Alameda and participating cities have joined together so that they can purchase electricity and provide that to the consumers. And what that means is the public has a say in where the power is being developed, the direction of the development and incentives and different programs that are involved. And essentially the whole point is to benefit the communities and the public at large. And so unlike PG&E, which is owned by shareholders and is traded on the stock exchange, this is a representation of the counties of Alameda, the participating cities, the city of Tracy, and the communities that are serviced, and allow us to invest in green energy, local energy programs, and begin building more clean power plants, whether it's solar, wind, etc., so that we can get ourselves off of fossil fuels and clean up our environment.
So, William, does that mean that EBCE will be generating its own energy? So, and they will be using PG&E's infrastructure to provide this energy to the consumers?
Yes, that's correct. So EBCE is what is called a community choice aggregator. So it's community choice because the community is involved in that choice. And if ratepayers still want, they can still use PG&E. But in this case, EBC either will buy power from clean energy producers such as the Altamont wind farm. So that's a huge source of power that EBC has tapped into, as well as it's producing its own power plants as well. And then because PG&E already owns a lot of the infrastructure to transmit the power, it makes sense that we would then use that existing infrastructure to transmit to the homes and businesses in our communities. And that's a rate that customers on PG&E would already be paying anyways. You pay for the transmission of that electricity wherever it's generated through PG&E's lines. Even if PG&E generates it, or EBCE, or another company, if it's going over PG&E lines, you will pay for that transmission regardless. But the nice thing about EBCE is that we are moving towards being more cleaner and producing more renewable energy.
Yeah, so as this terminology is something new, so one more question, Herman. So is it a government organization? Is it a non-profit organization? So what is the structure of this organization, EBCE?
It's a non-profit public agency, and that's where I'll add on to what Will said, that they'll be giving us better rates because there's no profit margin attached to it.
Sure. Thank you, Herman. So Herman, can you please share us with, so how then this will work, or the EBCE, how the functioning of EBCE will be?
So basically, EBCE is just providing energy. Source of energy is coming from EBCE to PG&E line. So the transmission lines are same. All the infrastructure is PG&E's. Only the source of energy that PG&E is providing to the houses is being purchased from EBCE. And EBC is generating, as Will said, EBC is generating its own energy, or they are purchasing energies from other resources. But it's all clean energy.
Got your point. So, William, can you please share some of the brief history? So, how this idea was originated, and now we are in 2020, from where we came?
Yeah, so I'll just recap really quickly. It started off with Alameda County. I know that there was state law that allowed for the creation of these community choice aggregators and moving away from PG&E. And so the County of Alameda pursued this option and founded it as a joint powers authority, which allows it to have multi-jurisdictional authority. So, for example, it can service, for example, Pleasanton, Dublin, San Leandro, etc., without having to worry about working with all those governments and working independently with those governments. Instead, all of those governments are working together collaboratively through EBCE for this purpose. And then from there, it expanded over the East Bay. And then in 2019, the city council, I believe unanimously, voted to join EBCE. I might be wrong on the vote count, but I believe I saw that in the Tracy Press, if I remember, but the city had joined in 2019, and service began in Tracy this year in April.
In April, yes, that's correct.
So how many cities at this point of time are part of this EBCE?
It's most of Alameda County.
Almost 14 cities, yeah. I think.
Thank you, Harmon, for the exact number. But it's, for example, Livermore, Dublin, Pleasanton are the closest three. There's Union City, Newark, Hayward, Fremont, Berkeley, Oakland. So all those cities are participating with Tracy, and we all have a representation on the board. So each city gets one vote, or one voting member, along with the County of Alameda as a whole.
Okay, so just to understand the structure, like of the community advisors, as you are the community advisor for this, so we have 16 cities. So how many community advisors we have, and what's the role of a community advisor in this board?
Harmon, do you want to?
I can answer that. So there are right now 9 members, one from each city plus 2 alternates appointed by the board. And the main function actually for the committee members is to liaison between the board and the community, to learn about the policies and procedure and see what best works for the community, and go back to the board and give them the suggestions, implement.
So, William, from the city of Tracy's perspective, as you both are the committee members of EBCE, what's your thought? What's your goal towards this committee?
So my goal with this committee is to make sure that since Tracy's not in Alameda County, we want to make sure that the perspectives here in the Central Valley are being represented in the board. We want to make sure that we are looking at that equity lens as well, and making sure that the needs of our community are being met. One of the big goals that I want to see with EBC, especially, is making sure that we make that we really push for that transition towards renewable energy and going towards 100%. Making sure also that when customers have issues with their rates, or if they want to, how we as an advisory committee can really push for better options, more affordable rates. How can we beat out PG&E so that more people can not only just save money but also reduce our environmental impact and reduce and improve our air quality and improve the resources that we use.
Right. And I would like to add something to this, that we are not employees of EBCE. We are CAC committee members representing our city so that we can raise the voices of the residents of our area.
Right. So, no, thank you. Yeah, now we kind of understand the structure, what EBCE is. Now let's learn from the perspective of a consumer. So, can you share, so what are the options for a consumer, or how this partnership between the PG&E and EBCE will work?
So when this program was rolled out, everybody by default opted in. So if everyone who lives in Tracy looks at their bill, they will see a line item on page 1 showing EBCE charge, and people have a choice to opt out as well if they're not happy. But what they need to really understand is that even before EBCE, PG&E and EBCE joint venture went in together, we were still paying the generation charges, So now instead of PG&E line item, it shows as EBCE charges on the bill. So main thing that I am here to understand myself and help our community understand is the billing. Billing is the key to understand. There is no extra charge that is being charged by EBCE. Only the generation charges which were being charged by PG&E are being charged by EBCE. So that's one line item that we need to focus on page 1 and page 4 of our billing system.
Okay, so
it's one or the other. It's not like PG&E is also charging you and EBCE is also charging. It's not like that. Because we all opted in and everybody can see that bill, it's EBCE is charging us for the generation charges and PG&E is not charging us for that. So to understand how this clean energy work and how we are literally saving money on it is to understand your bill. That's all.
So just another point on it. So as you mentioned, in Tracy, whoever cities are part of this EBC, they will automatically opt in. So
they're automatically opted in, yes.
Does a user or the consumer has an option to opt out?
Yes, they do. By law, they have right to opt out as well. And they can always call in PG&E and say, hey, I don't want to be part of EBCE. What is this line item? Please pull me out. And then they will just remove them from EBCE to their standard generation billing.
Okay, got your point. And William, can you please share so what this slide is telling us?
Yeah, exactly. So I want to disclaim that only 2 options are currently available. This slide, as this note, as the note at the bottom says. So the current choice that everyone gets opted into is the Bright choice, which is 5% more renewable energy production than PG&E, and it's provided to ratepayers for 1% lower than what you would have gotten under PG&E. So, for example, if you had a $100 bill, you now pay $99 for that electricity. There is a middle option, the Brilliant 100, but as it says, it will sunset in January 2022. So for Tracy ratepayers, there's no real incentive to join that at the moment. So I'll just go ahead and skip that for now. And then we have the Renewable 100, which is 100% solar and wind energy. And it is a little more pricier than the Bright choice. And you may pay a little more than what you would under PG&E, but you do get the satisfaction that 100% of the energy that you are using is renewable. And so there's no carbon impact on the environment.
So, and that option is available right now with the consumers.
Yes. So if you want to move to that, you can call or reach out to EBCE. We'll have that number at the end, and you can tell them we want to move to renewable 100.
Okay, got your point. Okay, so right now, automatically in the pie chart one, they are enrolled, but if they want to change, they have to contact EBCE, or they can maybe contact the PG&E so they can help them out to transition to the fully renewable energy program.
It would be through EBCE, not through PG&E, since
Okay.
this would be about since this program is about who's producing the electricity.
Right.
PG&E would only be involved if you want to opt back into the PG&E service.
Got your point. Got your point. So, and if we talk about the benefits, because yeah, it seems like it is more towards renewable energy, as especially California, United States, as well as globally, everybody is moving towards more renewable energy. So, what will be the benefits, Herman, of moving towards EBCE?
Well, the benefits are lower rates. As Will mentioned, that our rates are 1% lower than PG&E, and you can always compare it and calculate it after you understand your billing. And it's a local production, local investment here within our own community. And sustainability is like there's no end to solar and wind. It's there till we are here on Earth. And customer definitely gets a choice of programs if they want to go with Bright Choice or with second program, which is 100% solar and wind. It's like, as I understand it, it's like having solar on your roof without having solar.
Right.
Solar, if you don't have a solar, but you're signing up for EBCE and this joint venture, you stay in as a Bright Choice customer, you're having solar on your roof because the energy that's coming to your home is clean energy.
So in that regard, Arman, as you mentioned, solar on the roof, because if a consumer has a solar on the roof, because they still has to coordinate with the PG&E. So will they be helping it in respect to EBC? Is there any such program?
There is program for those solar consumers as well who have solar already installed on their homes, and they can always reach out to EBCE, and they have net metering and all that stuff already in place for those customers as well.
So is there any help from EBCE in this regard if a new customer, they want to have a solar in their house, or there's no such program?
Well, I think we have programs, right?
Yeah. So if a customer wants more information, we're happy to answer their question and direct them to the more technical staff. What we do with our role at the advisory committee, we provide input on the different programs that are available. But if people have more of those technical questions on what does it mean on our rates, how much, what's the true up and things like that, we can always direct them to the experienced staff who can answer those more technical questions.
Right.
And offer those assistances as well.
William, in that regard, so can you please again share us, so what kinds of inputs you need from the citizens, Tracy residents, and how they can provide that input to you?
Yeah, so for the residents, our goal is to hear from them how is their experience with EBCE. If folks want more, for example, renewable energy, how can we, through the budget process for EBCE, how can we, upgrade or invest more money into building solar or purchasing solar, for example. Another thing is if people have any labor issues that they may be interested in, how can we make sure that like EBCE is, providing a living wage, or how can we make sure that EBCE is providing a good service to marginalized communities, low-income communities. So we want to take in all that information as community members come to us. I'm happy to provide my email that I'm using for EBCE at the moment. Since we're not staff, I wanted to produce my own so I can keep track of everything. So my EBC email is wmutzenberg.ebce@gmail.com. And I'm happy to also provide that, so we can put that in the description as well. Harman, do you want to provide your contact information as well?
Sure. My email is my first name, last name @gmail.com. So harmanradia@gmail.com.
Sure. So yeah, after this program, we'll post that information. And yeah, any of our listener, if they want to contact William or Herman, they can always reach out to us. We'll direct those questions to Herman and William. So Herman, can you please share what is the power purchasing agreement at this point between EBCE and the power companies?
Well, I will have actually Will speak up on this one.
Sure.
So right now, EBCE is looking at both purchasing and producing its own power. So like I said, they're purchasing power through the Altamont wind farm is one option. So we're trying to build more of those and making sure that we can get more power being produced from cleaner energy sources. I think renewable energy is still relatively new compared to fossil fuels. And so we want to make sure that we're investing more. And so that's something that EBC is currently looking into doing more of. And so we want to work as the CAC to analyze what projects are being built at the moment. Are they being, how much energy is being produced? How equitable is the distribution going to be to the system, and things like that. So that's something that we're hoping to learn more about and work towards on these committees.
And another question, as you mentioned, the windmills, as living in Tracy and San Joaquin County, we always see the windmills at the Altamont Pass. So are they private organizations that own and run those windmills, or is there any government private partnership in there?
So currently, from my understanding, is that the Altamont wind farm is privately owned, and all the land and operations are privately owned. But I know that right now, when I last checked with EBCE, is that the Altamont wind farm is solely working with them. I don't want to provide that, so I do want to put that disclaimer that that may not be correct. But when I last looked, the Altamont wind farm was listed as one of the primary wind farms that is getting energy or that EBCE is getting energy from.
That's correct. When I checked last too, Altamont was working with EBCE directly.
So do we have such entities in across California as well? Like EBC, it is supporting now 16 cities that are around us. So do you know, do we have certain other programs as well?
Yeah, so there are CCAs, the Community Choice Aggregators, across the state. There's some in Los Angeles County. There's many in the Bay Area. So I believe there's one in Marin County and the North Coast. So there's many across the state that are being sprung up, and more that are being considered for consideration. That are going to take away kind of that investor-owned aspect that PG or the other investor-owned utilities have, so that we can provide more of that power and input through the communities who use the energy.
Yeah, no, it's one way of we can see the diversification as well, because solely the whole burden is on PG&E to generate electricity, especially in our area. So that will kind of diversify to the consumer, and eventually it will give them some option if somebody wants to have towards the 100% clean energy,
right,
then they can have that option to opt in.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then, so EBC local programs. So William, do you want to share something about this?
So yeah, I'm still learning more about the different programs that are available. I know that there's a lot of the different assistance programs out in the Bay Area, and now they're coming to here. I know, for example, with COVID, there's some utility assistance, and I know that some of that assistance is also going to come from the state. If any viewers do have questions that are more maybe specific on local programs, we're happy to either try and answer it ourselves or direct a viewer to the staff who can help get them access to those local programs and figure out how they can apply for them if they qualify.
Right. And one more thing I like to add, whatever discounts we have with PG&E, let's say CARE program or FERA program, they stay intact. So it doesn't mean that if you are with the Bright Choice, your discounts will be taken away. No, they stay as is.
Right, right. So, William, any other slide if we did miss from this presentation you want to
I think
focus on?
Yeah, I think the one I know Harman had mentioned this earlier, but I think it'd be really good to show again is the understanding the customer's bill and making sure that customers understand what they are looking at when they are seeing when they receive their energy statement. So I know that the way that EBCE works is that um, a consumer would receive an energy statement from PG&E. All that would
Mm-hmm.
be different is that they would receive, as Harman said, that energy credit from EBCE instead of PG&E.
Right.
Cost for transmitting that energy would be the same regardless of whether or not you're an EBCE or PG&E member. So that's not a new charge. That's a charge that would have been paid
Right.
regardless.
It's replaced. Yeah,
So all that's
exactly.
replaced now is that your energy is coming from EBCE and it's coming from more renewable sources rather than
Right.
PG&E.
Sure. So, Herman, anything comes to your mind in this regard?
And one more thing that bill, bill our cell phone bills are very hard to understand. I mean, your master degrees will fail while understanding these bills. So PG&E bill also on page 4 will show you the generation credit, which means it will show you the difference between what you would have paid PG&E as opposed to EBCE. So that way you can see how much you're saving per month. So the
Got
key
it.
to this whole 9 yards is to understand your billing and realize that eventually we all have to transition to renewable energy. We cannot keep going back to fossils or other
Mm-hmm.
sources which are not sustainable. And this is just a one step for everybody at large. People who can afford solar, well and good. Who can't afford solar, okay, here we have Bright Choice. Let's go that route. But understanding is a key. And I understand as a mother that when I come home and I see a bill and I see extra charge, I will go nuts. Oh my God, why do I have EBCE? I didn't sign up for this. Let me call PG&E and ask them to remove me. Well, before anybody wants to get out of this program, please call EBCE or PG&E. There is information on PG&E website as well about this joint venture between EBCE and PG&E. Or call EBC, or call Will, or call me. We will put you in connection with somebody who can really answer your questions.
Right.
But
Exactly.
this is the way to go. I mean, I don't know how else I can
Yeah, and
emphasize on
I
it.
also want to say too, if you uh, accidentally opted out because you weren't sure what this was, but now that you watched this program and you want to re-opt in, call EBCE or PG&E and say you want to re-opt back into EBCE because I, like Harman said, we want to make sure that we're moving towards a greener future, and I think the best way is to put that future in public hands and making sure that there's public representation and guidance and influence so that we can make sure that we build towards that more sustainable future.
This is why we are here. This is why we are here to listen to our community, take their concerns, take them back to the board, take them back to EBC, and tell them, you know what, this is what the main street is feeling. It's different when you sit in offices and make all the regulation. And that is why we
Mm-hmm.
are here to promote that.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Herman and William, for sharing with us this information because I'm pretty sure majority of us, including me, we have learned this terminology, new terminology today. So I would recommend everybody just to explore more, read about it, what this terminology EBCE is, and now it's part of our system. It is here to stay. It is not here to go away anytime soon. So we will have multiple options programs as William and Herman shared. So it is very easy to have their go to their websites. Or William, can you share so which is the easiest way if somebody wants to learn more, any website information or anywhere they can go?
Yeah, I would just say go to ebce.org. Their website is very user friendly. You can
Mm-hmm.
find out where the energy is being produced, how much is being produced, who or what cities are participating, how to figure out how to understand your bill. There's a lot of resources on there, and if you still
Right.
need more information, because they can't cover every single topic, you can always contact the staff, and the staff is absolutely wonderful. They are very responsive and ready to help when needed.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think this is very useful information, and we will request you guys a direction. So with that, I want to thanks everybody for watching. So please give us feedback and suggestions for the topics that you want to listen. So see you in the next episode. Stay healthy and stay informed.